So I'm back from my lake house vacation to find that the 1.3.0.7.2 hotfix is live. What excellent news! Naviskio of DR Studios released the following statement. Hello everyone. We're happy to let you all know a new hotfix has been released for Terraria Mobile 1.3. In this hotfix you will find not only the usual suite of key fixes for common issues that have been identified post-release, but also a handful of new control options, again based on community feedback. Bear with us in our quest to get you updates as fast as possible. We are not able to fix everything in a single hotfix, but be at ease knowing that more are coming as needed. Again, we would like to apologize for any issues that you've encountered, and we want to thank you all for your feedback, reports, and patience. We are all extremely excited for the future and what is coming after these hotfixes. So if you're not interested in the changes in this log, we have big plans to share once the launch fixes are done and things stabilize. This will include highly demanded features such as controller support and more customization options. And then Naviskio went on to add these details about the new features that were added with the latest hotfix patch. And of course, this is the second hotfix since Mobile 1.3 went live. The big one, of course, is probably for most of you the new jumping options using the left stick. Described here, you can set the jumping mode to any of the following, and they show these different options. I like the double tap. I think it prevents some accidental use of this. I'm definitely going to activate the left jump option. I think having jump only on the right side is a little limiting in terms of when you can attack and also jump at the same time. So I'm going to keep it at double tap for now. That is the default. But if anyone doesn't quite like the default option, you obviously have these options at your disposal. So there you have it. It's nice that they've added it. It's been rather a short amount of time since the Mobile 1.3 release, so they didn't really waste any time with this. But moving on from the jump options, the other big thing that a lot of us were waiting for is adding the option to enable auto swing for most weapons. And they say that this is off by default, but I highly recommend turning it on and trying it out. I've tried it and I really enjoy it. And of course, with Smart Cursor, this was already an option for digging tunnels with your pickaxe and chopping trees down with your axe. But now it's definitely an option for things like swords and early on against zombies when you have a weapon without much knockback. This is a really helpful thing to have. And of course, like with the jump option, they go into some of the particulars on how it works, some of the options at your disposal. These are all going to be included in the patch notes if you want to read further. They also added that worlds will now be indicated in red if they are not compatible with the current version of Mobile Terraria. So if you were to say, copy a PC world over to your mobile phone and then try to use that world, it should show in red. I haven't tested it out to see what it looks like in game, but I'm assuming it looks as they describe. It will be indicated with red text or something. And of course, they don't recommend trying to use worlds that are not made in the mobile version or mobile compatible version because of unexpected issues, and that doesn't sound good, does it? And then finally, the last big thing with the latest hotfix is a new dedicated mobile server for PC applications. So the PC application has been updated, and so as they indicate, everyone running a PC-based dedicated server for mobile multiplayer needs to update to the latest version of the server application. So they're not wasting any time, are they? Do these guys sleep? For more information on known issues, frequently asked questions, or bug fixes, be sure to check out their full post. It was posted by, as I said earlier, Naviskio of DR Studios on the official forums. I'll link to his post in the video description below. And be sure to note that if you load up Mobile Terraria and if your version doesn't show for some reason the 1.3.0.7.2 when you load to the main menu, you're going to want to go to the Play Store page for Terraria if you're using an Android-based mobile device, or its Apple equivalent, and select the update option. It should be there to manually update the game if it doesn't do so automatically. Anyway, that wasn't all to report this week, because Loki with his wingman Line Force was on the Terraria Discord all day on Monday, answering just a suite of Terrarians' questions about the state of Terraria. And this is not just about mobile Terraria, but about Terraria in general, although mobile development obviously remained the focus of the conversations. And I'll add that some of the DR Studios folks even joined in and were helping people out by answering questions. You're not kidding. Let's begin with Sister Katori Love's brother Shido, who posted, Line, meaning Line Force, and Loki, will crashes be fixed in the next update? Line Force answered, some will be, though it will depend on the crash. If it's a crash due to RAM being too low, then that's a device issue. We may be able to optimize the game a bit more, but there's only so far that can go. This was followed by Loki's post, where Loki wrote, will it fix the crashes is not a detailed enough question, and is also very dependent on what you were doing and on what device. So there you have it. Moving along to Metallica. Metallica wrote, Loki, how long until the old one's army is added? I can't remember what update that's in. Loki replied, it's in 1.3.4 Metallica. And as mentioned before, we won't get into content plans until after controller and customization feature update. Smarty posted, no pause when opening inventory. And Criddle, the moderator, wrote, auto pause on mobile matches how auto pause will work in PC 1.4, as in only in the settings menu will the game be paused. This was followed up by Line Force, who wrote, Smarty, that is intended, it's just that the update for PC that contains the same thing isn't out yet. So rest assured, the Journey's End patch for PC will add this feature that apparently is already in the mobile version, and that's to do things like prevent cheesing. Temanade wrote, I just want to be able to play pure Summoner, and I know that this is a frequent complaint, or request I should say. Anyway, Temanade carried on more, since it's super difficult to get a summon weapon at the start. Line Force was there with the following. All we can say is that there are at least a few new summons in the update, and hopefully that makes it a bit easier to have summoner coverage. Temanade was back with, is there any early game summons? Like, early. And Line Force had to draw the line there, and Line Force wrote, sorry, nothing else I can share. And that's obviously talking about the PC 1.4 update, because all new content is going to go through PC first, and they've already hinted and shown signs of new summons. And so if you're keen on summon attacks, it sounds like 1.4 is going to really float your boat, but you know, some of the details they're just not going to release quite yet. Moving along, Dawn41 wrote, Line Force, not sure if this is a question you can answer, but at about 32 seconds in the Journey's End trailer, they show an item called Dune Strider boots. Is that just the desert-style Hermes boots like Flurry boots in the water one, or is it something else? And again, Line Force wrote, surely I can't spoil that info, wink. So again, they're keeping it close to the vest, but I'm sure we'll get some updates in the near future. It's about 10 days out from the September state of the game, so with any luck, we'll get some more spoilers about Journey's End with the September state of the game. Loki wrote, controller support will not be a hotfix. It is our first feature update once the launch fixes are done. And so he's just clarifying a bit the schedule first of hot fixes, and then controllers and customization, and then once all that's done, they'll move on to new content. Pinhead Pat wrote, so when is DR Studios and the peeps at Relogic take a vacation? Line 4's answered, I don't know about DR Studios, but Relogic people take their vacations separately around the year, so we don't have to shut down or anything. That's certainly a smart policy. And then Loki wrote, I'm hoping we can get the rest of the fixes done in the next 1 to 2 hotfixes, so DR can take some time and we can get on to feature updates. That would certainly be nice. Ethicon wrote, my question is Amazon slated for a specific patch, or is it just pushed until all of the planned patches are done? Loki's answer, Amazon wanted to wait for at least the first few fix waves because Amazon may have its own issues by itself. So why not get the core thing fixed a bit first? It's a fair policy, I suppose. Although if I were to have an Amazon device, I might think a little differently of it. Angry Hippo wrote, we're working on optimizing memory more. Angry Hippo is obviously the programmer for DR Studios, and he was there on the Discord. So he just threw out there that they're working on optimizing the memory use of Mobile Terraria more. Etch-a-Sketch wrote, frames per second too, right? And Angry Hippo replied, yep. So DR is hard at work with the optimizations, clearly, which will be excellent. Dragon wrote, my Terraria crashes very often, and they indicated that their phone is an iPhone 5S using iOS 12.4. And Angry Hippo was back once again with, we are looking at improving the memory utilization, which should help with this. Sorry in the delay in getting this out. Make sure you have full screen effects switched off and map turned off. It should help. And those are wise words for anyone who's suffering from performance hits while playing Mobile Terraria. Be sure to go into the visual settings menu and turn full screen effects off and turn that map off, and that should help you a little bit. Loki with the last comment said, hotfixes have a faster pace. When we get to features and content, those will take longer by definition. I don't know, by definition is quite the way I would phrase it, but he's certainly correct in that these bug fixes and tweaks to the controls, the minor tweaks like the auto swing, they can get those out to us faster, but obviously when it comes to bug testing and testing out the ins and outs of gamepad support and that sort of thing, they're going to run into all kinds of issues with that, especially given how many mobile devices are out there. So I guess the rollout of things like gamepads and customization, that's just going to take longer, and at least they're upfront about it, right? And that's that. It seems like there'll be 1 or 2 more hot fixes, and what's done in those 2 hot fixes will depend on your bug reports, of course. After those hot fixes should come the release for Amazon devices, and then they'll move on to controller support plus customization options. Once all that's done, on to new content, which will be excellent. I have to say, now that I have this new auto swing, I'm going to go out and test it a bit more. I really do like what I've tried of it so far. I like it a lot. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.